Hey guys, how you all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another video. Now today's video is going to be more of like a discussion type of video, but it's on a very important topic and it's something that I actually needed to hear myself. So we're both going to be learning something today. And that topic, as you can tell by the title and thumbnail, is knowing the difference between inspiration and imitation. So it's just kind of understanding where that line is sort of crossed from drawing inspiration from something and actually just straight up copying it. Whether you're just starting out as a designer or you're already a pretty experienced designer, it's something that every designer faces and every creative will kind of either struggle with this or they'll start off doing this. So it's just something I wanted to cover and hopefully it's going to help you guys out a lot, and it's also helped me out a hell of a lot kind of understand this and actively thinking about it while you're designing. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. So when you're starting out as a designer, or even when you're more experienced, but especially when you are starting, everyone finds their places of inspiration, right? Whether it's for a certain project and you've just seen one that you like the style of that's similar, or whether it's a type of content you want to create, or whatever it might be, just something that you want to be able to do, and you're inspired and motivated to go and do that by looking at something, right? And everyone does this, so I'm not knocking it if you've ever done it. It's literally a crucial part of learning. Everyone starts off by replicating things, but it's just understanding that once you've replicated something, it doesn't make it yours. It doesn't give you the right to go and use it. And it's something I've struggled with myself. Like, I'm not saying this as if I'm speaking down upon anyone that's ever done it before, because I've done it myself and it's not exactly great. So that's the point of today's video, and I'm going to be really breaking down how you can avoid that, and also what to constantly ask yourself when you're designing and when you're learning new things off of other people. So I mentioned just now that replicating things is part of the learning process when you're a designer or any creative or artist or that kind of thing. Everyone does it to begin with, whether that's at the beginning of a project, whether that's at the beginning of your career when you're learning still. Everyone does it, right? So I kind of wanted to break down that kind of learning process to show you what I mean by that. So it's typically when you're learning or when you're trying something new, you'll replicate something. So whether it's you follow a tutorial off of YouTube, whether you find a picture or an image that you like and you try and replicate that, whatever it might be that you're trying to do, you're most likely going to sit there and try and copy something, because when you copy something, you feel like it's up to that quality and you feel like you can do that, right? But the next step to actually learn that skill and develop that and make it not just imitating something. And depending on how you do it, that can kind of completely cross the line into inspiration. A lot of the time it kind of just sits on the border, where if you're changing just a few colors or you're changing a few words or you're just changing like a couple of elements that don't really change it much at all, you have kind of learned to develop it, but not enough to call it your own, if you kind of see what I'm saying. I just really want to stress throughout this video that it's not just beginners who do this. Everyone does it. I have literally done it myself pretty bad. Like, you shouldn't do them, and I've kind of removed these things myself, and I'm going to be changing some other things about my channel and content and blah blah blah. So if you know me a little bit, probably from online, from like Twitter and Discord and stuff like that, you'll probably know that I'm pretty active in like Sesso's community and the 100 Thieves community and all that kind of stuff like that. And you just pull up a couple videos and a couple thumbnails here, you'll see where I've got my inspiration from. But that boundary is easily crossed because I haven't intentionally just gone, oh, this is great, I'm going to copy him, it's doing well, it's doing so good. That's not like what I do at all. When you look at inspiration, especially with a certain creator, or maybe it's like a professional project or company or something like that, when you look up to them and you kind of want to be making things up to that quality, like I said, the first part of this learning process is imitating. So that's the first thing you kind of do. But when you think, oh, this is a great quality thing and I've done it and I've made something of this quality and it's like, I've done it, it's my creation, that's not how it works, because you post that online and you're going to get someone come off the back end of it thinking, okay, he's just copied him straight up, there's no creativeness got into it. And that's not what you want people to think about you when you're a designer, and that's certainly not what I want people to think about me. And so that's why I've gone ahead and removed these things, edited them, or privated the videos and stuff like that if they're not my own enough. That is just showing how everyone is susceptible to this concept of overstepping that line from being inspired and motivated by something and just copying it or not adapting it enough. Now, this is a difficult thing to overcome. Developing your own style and developing your own brand is a very important, and sometimes it can be a very personal thing, like it is to me. I'm very picky about what I like to put out and what things that I like and what things I don't like, and the standard of quality that I want things to be up to. But it is important to develop your own style and push out things that are going to be yours and yours only, and then maybe that will inspire other people and so on and so forth. Like, you get my point here. So for the next part of the video, I'm going to be showing you some tips and some ways to get over actually just straight up imitating things, and also going through the process of going from copying something to developing it and making it your own. So without further ado, let's hop into that part of the video. Okay, so we've opened up Photoshop now, and this is where I'm going to show you the kind of process and how to overcome these things, and also break down what the differences are between certain things. So as you can see in my document, I've broken it up into 3 separate artboards, and if you notice the titles, we've got our inspiration here. This is just the imitation, and this thumbnail is actually on my channel. So in this video, we're going to be going ahead and changing this, because this is just imitation. Like, it's practically the same. And it doesn't mean to say that it looks bad or anything, or that it's bad, like it's not good quality, but it's not your own creation, right? It's not my own. So we've got our inspiration here. This is what I looked at and I thought, yo, I really like this thumbnail. This is really cool. I'm going to do something like this. And this is what I came up with, which isn't very creative. It is edited and it is different because I have got different elements in it, but you can see what I mean by saying that they're very, very similar and it's not really my own style, right? So that means what we've got to do is now develop this because we've just copied. And we want to make it our own, and we want to make it our own creation. When people look at it, they think me and they don't think of this one, right? First thing I'm going to do to begin with is slightly imitate the text, but I'm just going to change the font of it. So I use Cunha in my main, and for this one I'm going to use Unisounds to start with. So let's do hidden features or something like this. So we changed the words in already. We already had Photoshop 21 back if we want to, but what I actually want to do, I think, is maybe use the Photoshop logo to say Photoshop instead of using the Photoshop word itself. So already you can see, just by changing that typography and just moving that Photoshop logo into thing, you've already got something that I'm starting to actually like the look of. Obviously it's not great, it's not a brilliant thumbnail, but we can add to this and we can build upon this and we can really make our own style of thumbnail out of it. And now I've actually just started to layer up some of the little tabs where the new features from this video were. The video itself is actually very different. The video itself is not something that is featured on the channel. I've drawn inspiration from and overlaid them in the corners of the thumbnail. As you can see, it's already looking a very different style, yet you can kind of see the development of the actual thumbnail itself and how I've taken inspiration from this one with the different tabs and stuff and used it on my own. However, you can still see elements of that in the final actual outcome that I'm creating here. So something I do want to play around with is using the colors of the actual Photoshop logo on the text to really just highlight the title of the video and make it stand out that much more. As you can see here, we've got our actual finished thumbnail and you can see the development. You can see how I've used elements from it, but it's not the same at all. It's very different from the actual original thumbnail that I looked at, and even the imitated thumbnail that I thought I could use at the time for some stupid reason. Here you've got the actual ones. If you look on my channel now, this will be the actual thumbnail that I'm using, as well as I'm going to be changing some of the others. I'm not sure if some of the others will be changed by the time the video's up, but they will be changing in the very near future. I do want to come up with my own kind of style and brand and stuff, but yeah, guys. I use myself as an example in this video to show how everyone is kind of really susceptible to this idea of being too close to imitating something for it to just be inspiration. And it can kind of have the opposite effect of what you actually intended. So it's just something to be really mindful of while you're designing and while you're producing anything. You want to make sure it's got your own touch and your own finish on it, and that you haven't just completely copied and pasted something else, even if you have changed the words. But yeah, guys, that is it for today's video. Today's videos and tips were really helpful for me, so I hope they were helpful for you. If you did learn anything new or you did enjoy the video, please leave a like down below and consider subscribing if you want videos like this one every single week. Usually they're more tutorials and tips and tricks based. This one was a bit more of a discussion kind of video. But yeah, that does it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you in the next one.